The Scotch game starts with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and pawn d4. Right? Now, when you learn this opening the first time, it might look a little complicated because there is some theory. But once you understand the logic behind the moves and the tactics behind the moves, the basic tactics involved, then it becomes a very easy opening to understand and play and get good positions as white. But when you do not understand the intricacies of the opening and you play, sometimes disaster happens. One such disaster happened in a game between two of my students. Let me show you. Chess Army 7063 played e4, Pranav played e5, knight out, and d4. So far, so good. Scotch game. Black took, knight took back, and now bishop c5. One of the main replies, and bishop e3, main line. And here black played queen f6, also a book move, main line. Black is putting pressure on d4. Here Arush played the correct move c3, defending his knight. Now black played knight e7, also a book move. And here Arush made the error, a grave error of taking on c6, which is still okay because after bishop takes bishop, pawn takes back, black can just take back. But black played bishop takes bishop, and Arush here played knight takes knight, a huge blunder, and he got checkmated on f2. So what led to this disaster? When you play the Scotch after e into d4, knight into d4, you have to remember one thing. As black, you shouldn't take on d4. That's the first thing. If black takes, this becomes a good position for white. For example, if you develop your knight just normally, you will get kicked back. Knight has only got g8 square. h5 will get trapped. So knight g8 and it's a good position for white. So as black, you should not take again on d4. You should let it be and play bishop c5, the main move. Now white also shouldn't take because if you take, queen f6 comes. And then he will take back with the d pawn, which would give him a good pawn structure and pieces would be active. You will have to defend the mate over here. So white also shouldn't take on c6. The bishop e3 is a main move. Black puts more pressure. You defend it again. And here when black plays knight e7, again don't take. Taking is never good. After castling, taking is an option. Because bishop takes bishop, we can take over there. But here when you take, black will just play bishop take bishop and you're supposed to take back. And it becomes a good position for black. This is the problem. So what white should do is, after something like knight e7, just develop your bishop. Just play bishop c4, black castles, you also castle, and now black just needs to play bishop b6, d6. White shouldn't play knight d2 because it blocks the queen, and you will lose a pawn. Queen is defending d4. So knight a3, knight c2, pawn f4, all these moves are fine for white. Comfortable position, comfortable sender, and black would also not be that bad. Bishop b6 and d6 and develop the bishop. So this is how we can play the Scotch without getting into disastrous positions.